Here we have an interesting story from Rabbi Elimelech of Lezhinsk. Rabbi Elimelech of Lezhinsk. He's known for his, he wrote a book called Noam Elimelech, and he has a holy brother called Zushim Anipoli, who was a very good friend of the first Rebbe of Chabad. So the story goes like this. Once there was a man, there was a man, a Jew, that he desperately needed money. He had to marry off his daughter, and he had other troubles in his house. But the main thing was he had to marry his daughter off, and the date of the marriage was coming closer and closer, and he didn't have a penny to his name. So he prayed and he tried to collect money, and nothing worked. So someone told him, go to Reb Elimelech of Lezhinsk. He needed 5,000 kopecks or whatever, 5,000, what is zlatis, something. So he goes to Reb Elimelech, and he says, pours his heart in front of him. And Reb Elimelech of Lezhinsk is a well-known holy tzaddik. And he says, how much do you need? He says, I need 5,000 zlatis. So he said, absolutely no problem. No problem. So he takes out of his a little pouch, and this Jew is overjoyed, it's so easy. Takes out of the pouch, opens it up, and he counts out 5 zlatis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here you are. God bless you. You should have a good. So he wants to say to the Rebbe, Rebbe, I need 5,000. But when he told the Rebbe, the Rebbe said, 5,000. You need 5,000? You sure 5,000? Yes, no problem. 5,000, no problem. He opened up the thing and he gave him 5. So he didn't know what to say to the Rebbe. So he figured, I get it. The Rebbe is testing me. He's testing me to see if I will receive what he gives in a happy way. So he said, oh, thank you, Rebbe. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. You've solved my problems. May God bless you. May God, all your blessings come true. He takes the money and goes. So he's walking. Takes the money, starts walking. And after he's walking for about a half an hour, it's like a 4-hour walk or something to go back to his house. He's walking, and suddenly he hears, after he's walking for about a half an hour, he hears someone yelling, wait, 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 wait. He turns around and he sees one of the followers, a young fellow, a boy, a young man would have running after him. Wait, wait, the Rebbe says, that's it. I passed the test. Because I accepted the money and I didn't ask any questions. I wasn't disappointed. So now he's going to give me everything I need. So he smiled. Yes. He said, the Rebbe gave you 5 zlatis, right? He said, well, the Rebbe made a mistake. I said, right, I know. He said, he gave you too much. Give me 3 back. He says, okay, I guess the test is a deeper test than what I thought. He says, of course. Well, no problem. Well, the Rebbe, but sure. He gives him 3 backs. Thank you very much. He runs away. Well, now this fellow, poor guy, he's walking along the road and he's thinking, what am I going to do? I have 2 zlatis. I'm going to come home to my wife and give her this. She's, it'll just be like a, the tragedy in our house. We've got no hope. That's all the Rebbe could give us this to. All of a sudden, he hears from the side, he's walking around deep in thought. It says, hey, Jew. Hey, Jew. He looks over, there's these 3 Gentile boys, how does he, hoodlums, standing by the side of the road, and they got a little fire burning over there. It's a cool day. It's cool. It's the winter is approaching, so it's cool. They have a little sort of a bonfire burning, and they're warming stuff up. One of them comes over to him and says, hey, Jew. He says, oh, this is it. Now these guys are going to beat me up, and they're going to take my money from me. And he says, hey, would you like to buy a purse? So what? You want to buy a purse? He says, a purse? What do you mean? It's a really nice purse. You'll really like it. Here, have a look. He gives him this purse. It's really nice, fine leather, and it's got like golden inlays all over it. And he says, yeah, you can look inside. He looks inside, and there's these bills of like German currency, marks or something like that. German currency, and there's like maybe who knows how many 10,000 marks or something like that, and every mark is like a zloty. So he looks and says, and the fellow says, "Oh, you can take the pictures. You can have the pictures also with it." I said, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, you want to buy it?" I said, "I don't know. How much is it?" He said, "Three zlotys. Give us three zlotys, and you can have the purse." There were three of them. It says three zlotys at the first. It said, "But man, I had the money before. Now all I have is two." And I said, "What am I going to do now?" So he says, "Listen, I don't." So he says, "What are you worried about?" He said, "Well, all I have is two zlotys." So they look at each other. He goes back. He says, "1 second. You want the pictures? I say you like the pictures. You want the pictures? We'll sell the pictures to you for for two zlotys. Two. So what? The pictures, the pictures inside of the fellows didn't know that that's German currency. They never saw it before. They were simple kids, whatever. And they found this person that says, "Okay, good, okay." So he gives them the two zlotys, and they give him the money which is inside, and they take the purse for themselves. And he takes the money and he puts it in. He walks, goes away, and he hears them holding their laughter back. The fool, he bought a bunch of pictures that weren't worth anything. And we have the purse, the purse was like really a nice purse. It was right. So he's walking. As he's walking, about another hour, suddenly this big sees a big cloud approaching in the distance, and he moves over to the side. The cloud is a huge coach that's being driven like at a a maniac pace down the road. And he's and it almost knocks him over. From the inside of the coach, the what is it called, the Baron, the Paritz, he yells at him from the window, "Move out of the way, you dirty Jew!" But then they pass by. He says, "Well, that was close." He gets home, goes to his wife, and says, "Listen, you won't believe what happened." Said, "I went to the Rebbe. The Rebbe gave me two zlotys, and it was just enough to buy." And these boys had a person, and I bought this. Look at this. His wife looks at this. These are German marks. Says, "This is a fortune. This must be worth like 20,000 zlotys." Says, "Yeah, this is a big miracle." His wife said, one second. Tomorrow morning, you go back to the Rebbe. Maybe somebody lost this. Maybe you have to give it back to them. I mean, we can't keep it to ourselves." So he said, "Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll go back." So early the next morning, he goes back to he leaves the money at home. He goes back to the Rebbe. He wants to tell the Rebbe that he found a purse and there was money inside of it, German marks. Maybe somebody lost it. Maybe he has to give it back. So he's walking back. As he walks back there he sees on the side of the road these three boys. The three boys are there that sold him but they're all bandaged up. And one of them has like a crutch. And he said, "What happened to you?" Said, "Oh, you're the one that bought the says, says, "Yeah." He said, "Well," they said, "I'll tell you what happened. You left. We were very happy. We sold you the pictures. And now we had two zlotys and the purse. But we started an argument how to divide it up. How to divide it up. Who gets the purse? Who gets the two zlotys? How with this?" And whatever it is, we started fighting one with the other. One hit the other, one kicked the other. And we knocked, and the purse fell into the fire. It fell into the fire. And in the fire, it got all singed and burned. By the time we could get to it, the whole thing was already burned. And before we could get like a stick to pull the thing out to see what it was, all of a sudden, this big coach comes along. A big coach drawn by fine swords. Who gets out? The Baron gets out. And he asked us, "Did anybody see a pouch?" And he looked in the fire, and he saw the pouch of his was all burned up. It was left only the gold inlay was there. And he went berserk. He took a whip and he started beating us, and he told his driver to beat us, and it was just terrible. They beat us, and that's why we're all beaten up. He said the man was says, "It's a lucky thing for you, he didn't buy the purse. If you would have bought the purse, he would have beaten you up." So suddenly he realized what happened over here. that if he would have had enough money to buy the purse, if he would have the 5 zlotys, whatever it was in the beginning, he would have bought the purse. The Baron would have caught him. The boys would have said, "We just sold the purse to that guy." He would have caught him, would have beaten him up. But as it was, he had just enough money to buy the money, and the purse remained by them. The purse burned, so that the Baron thought that his money got burned up also. Now, the Baron was an evil guy, and all the money that he had stolen from everybody anyway. So he had no obligation to. So he went back. Nevertheless, our hero went back to the Rebbe, and he told the Rebbe what happened. And he said, "Listen, half of the money belongs to you." He said, "Listen, the whole thing belongs to you. If you want to give charity, you can give as much charity as you want to, but you should know every penny of that money is totally yours. It was waiting for you from heaven." And that was the only way that you could get it. So, what's the point of the story? The point of the story is, first of all, there are tzaddikim in the world that care about the Jewish people and they arrange things. And number two, sometimes what seems to us to be the worst, right? He only got 5 zlotys and then he reduced it to 2. It seems to be the worst of the worst. Really, it ends up to be the best. And finally, in the end, we get the riches of the evil baron. They come into our hands to do good things with them. So it is with the world, that all of the seeming tragedies of the world will eventually, it should happen any second now, and will transform to be miracles we couldn't imagine, the miracles that are going to be any moment now with the Mashiach now. Have a good day. See you all tomorrow, 8:15.